Okay, welcome back. We are Weebonomics. This week, we're finally covering a show within a relevant time span that's not been out for 5 years. So we're talking about Arcane, mostly in reference to season 2, but obviously we'll talk about Arcane as a whole throughout the whole series. So spoiler alert if you haven't watched them, because we're probably going to talk about everything. So I will. I've honestly thought about this one question a lot, and it's kind of off the cuff. But did this show, because I know you already play League of Legends, I guess I should start with this frame.
A little bit. I'm not a real League player.
Okay, but did it make you want to play the game? Because I feel like the mission of this show, I have to imagine from like the game creator, is to make people play the game.
Yeah, I did. I even from season 1, I always thought, oh, I gotta go play League now. I just feel it. And I will get my ass whooped, and I stopped playing the League.
That is it. It is kind of frustrating because every time I talk to someone who plays League, they're like, "Don't! You're just gonna hate your life. It's such a toxic culture. It's like," and I'm like, I've never seen a game that is pretty like widely popular where everyone's like, "Nah, fuck that game."
I think in the old days, like when League was coming out, when it was out, and it was really when it was huge,
yeah,
it was toxic. I've never seen something so vile. like before, you used to call your lane like a top, bot, mid, or jungle, or whatever, and the first one to announce it is called dibs. But then there are some jerks who would just not care what about you say. And just eat your lane, but then like you chose the wrong character, so now you're screwed. So like now what? But now it's pretty cool. I think you have like presets. You can you can pick a character and you can assign them. I want to play mid.
Yeah.
And I play Orianna, so I like to play mid, and I only know how to play Orianna mid. So when you when you go to the matchmake, it just assigns you that lane, and that's yours. There's none of that BS talk anymore. And even going through the chats, I don't see much chat anymore.
I just feel like
sad.
Gaming culture in general is toxic. So like I don't know. Like it feels weird to like be warned about it, because I'm just like, I mean, to be fair, I don't play a ton of online player games. Like I play mostly RPGs and like co-op type things, but it's just like something I like, even from like World of Warcraft days of getting like just absolutely ganked, or corpse camped. It's like having a toxic gaming culture, to me, it just feels at this point like kind of a normal.
I got ganked quite a few times this morning.
It
was not nice. Playing League.
Oh, playing League. Okay, yeah. I think I did it. Like I played the mobile version while I was like chilling at work for a little bit, and then last week obviously we tried to do it, and I was like, I don't want to make a new account right now.
We're gonna try and do that.
Maybe eventually I'll do it again, but I was like, it's just annoying me with the
after the
creation. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that my curiosity is, as I do wonder like how many people they got brought to it, because the other part of it, and the reason I ask, is that I guess I assumed that this lore was the lore from the game, and I don't know if that's actually true. From what the people that play League that I know, they're like, nah, it's not really the lore.
Yeah, it seems like it's not the lore. I don't know. I never focused on the lore in the game.
Yeah,
but I was reading saw a YouTube video on Orianna's lore. It was kind of different than what we saw in Arcane. I know we didn't see much, right? But at the ending of Arcane, we see Orianna, and that was I forgot his the doctor's daughter.
Singed,
Singed or Sil?
Singed, Singed, yeah.
Okay, thanks. FYI, I'm not going to remember anyone's name. We see her all converted the daughter to Orianna, and that's like where are they going with this? Are they gonna follow the lore, or are they just gonna piss everyone off and just do their own thing? I don't know. I personally don't mind, because I think when shops take their own storyline, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think not knowing that lore, I think this story really works for me. Like I like how the pieces were put together. I think
Yeah.
everything kind of really makes sense. I'm sure there's loopholes and like issues with
Yeah.
it, but I'm trying to think like devil's advocate here. Like if I knew the lore, if it would really bug me. Okay, so like I'll give it an example. I hate the Witcher TV show, and that's because I
see.
know
You know
the
the lore.
games and I know the books, and it doesn't
Yeah.
line up at all. And so part of me watches the Witcher show, and I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. Like even from a non-lore perspective, I'm like, I don't understand the choice. Whereas I feel like with Arcane, I mean, it's hard to be objective here, but like watching the 2 seasons, I don't feel like there's moments where I'm like, that makes no sense to me at all. Like, why would this be what happens there? So I would be curious to talk to someone who's like deep in the lore of the game to see like if it like annoyed them, if something changed or not. But to me, I felt like the story worked, and I think it didn't bother me in any ways.
As someone who does not know the lore to The Witcher or play the games,
you like the Witcher show?
I loved the Witcher show. Not that I remember too much of it. Yeah, there were some spots where, like, why did you do that? Why couldn't you just kill that person right now? Oh, okay, plot armor. But yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think. I mean, we're talking about Arcane, not Witcher here, so I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of it. But I think in the vein of like having a lore already that's established and then changing it, I didn't understand why change it, because to me, I'm like, you already had a system that was extremely well loved. Like when I think of League of Legends, the difference I think of is it's a video game that when we play the game, I'm not sure there's lore required. Like there's nothing about the game that like is lore driven as far as I can tell.
Right.
Whereas if you play the Witcher games, you're playing an action RPG like based on a story. Like you're going through a narrative. So like it has a lore and it has all this backstory. It has all these things that all these events that led up to things. Like they changed literally what the event of the conjunction of spheres was, which is like the major driving force of the world changing in The Witcher. And I'm like, why? And for like a reason that we still don't know, when they only have one more season left of that show because they've absolutely butchered it in my mind. But in Netflix mind, yeah, there's only going to be, I think season 4 comes out, and then they basically said season 5, no matter what, is going to be the finale.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get one more.
You're gonna get Liam Hemsworth for this one, and then you're gonna get one more to finish it off.
I thought we were gonna get one more of who's his name?
Cavill's done.
Because I thought they like already had something shot with him.
That was season 3.
Oh, dang it!
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Liam, come on, man. Come on,
I have zero faith because I feel like the writing hasn't been great. So okay, we'll leave Witcher because that's a whole tangent that I could go on for so long. I mean, literally my tattoo sleeve is Witcher. So the writing of Arcane, I feel like, is honestly some of the strongest writing I've seen in television in the last like 5 to 10 years. I would put it up there because I think the reason I say that is because I think it really makes you question each character and like, are they good? Are they bad? Are they a result of like, okay, I'll give my example of Jinx and Silco. I think are like, they do such a good job of clearly painting a picture that especially Silco, that he's like this horrible villain and this terrible person. And then I think they spend like, multiple moments in season 1 showing you basically become like, maybe not the perfect, but a father figure of some sort to Jinx. And then in season 2, you kind of understand like his past is more complicated, right, than I think I even thought of from season 1. But literally at the end of season 1, they offer him, Jace offers him to turn the nation into Zon and give him everything he wants, but he has to turn over Jinx, and he says no. So I'm like, I really have to question how terrible I think Silco is in his environment. And I think they do that for a lot of characters. I think they put Vi in positions that you can argue, is she good or bad? Not in like, morality wise, but like, is she making horrible choices? Is she really as good of a person as I think a lot of people think that she is? Same thing with Caitlyn, right? So I think the fact that it takes all these major characters, even Jace, dude, I was so ready to like hate on Jace after he shot Victor, and then you see kind of what ends up happening, and so I'm just like, I don't know if I've seen a show do as good of a job really making you try to understand to the core who someone is instead of just painting them broadly, like, are they a good person or are they a bad person? And so that was a really big success for me personally when I was watching the show. Did you feel like it was similar in that vein to you, or like did you even like care about the writing?
Holloway. I thought that I care about the writing. Probably not as deep as you, as being a non movie enthusiast, but I felt like it was written very easily to understand. I feel like, and I understand what you're saying. There's a lot of times where it kind of made you like you really wanted to be against this person, but for example, go back to Jace, right? I hated on that guy too. What'd he do to Victor?
Yeah.
And then you go on a couple more episodes and like, oh, he was kind of justified there. I don't know if it was the right decision for one, but
I mean, Victor straight up says, like, kill me.
Did he say that?
He gets to visit him and he's like, I've seen the future that I want, and it doesn't become what I wanted it to be, and it ends with like no humanity. So he's like, you have to stop me.
Wait, are you talking about where they meet up in the
like when he's the other universe or whatever?
Oh, you're talking about over there?
Yeah, so like Jace breaks it. That there's a whole episode, right, where Jace goes into that other dimension or other whatever.
The future or whatever.
I can't tell if it's the future because it's like they in the same episode Ekko goes to like an alternate universe.
Yeah.
Right? Because he becomes the other Ekko. So like I think it's just an alternate universe where the same event happened, but I can't tell. I don't know for sure. Okay. But anyways, right? So like he finally meets up with Victor there, and they can see that the world is just like lifeless. That the only life that's remaining is these animatronic things.
What he created.
Yeah. And so he's like, this what I was trying to create was not what ended up becoming what I thought it was going to be. He's like, this isn't the imperfections of the world are necessary for humanity.
Yeah, that line you just said.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't quite say it like that, but I guess it was implied, right? He was saying there's no perfection, or you can't solve any problems without. Oh no, I forgot the line.
I think he basically was like, the only way to like not have humanity is to like kill everyone, and he's like, then what's the point?
No, I didn't get that.
Yeah,
I got something else. But then when he was having that conversation with Jace, I still didn't quite understand why it was so important to have Jace go through all that. I mean, why? I understand he's done this multiple times. This is not his first time in this time loop, and I think each trigger is a different type of rune. But I don't understand why in this time, I don't know, this time try. I don't know what he was going to say. Why did this make the difference if he's already seen this happen?
I'm confused even by this question.
Because he said only you are able to show me this future. I'm like, well, how about the other times that you did this?
Did he mean like only you, Jace, or did he mean only you, this version of Jace? Because I think he just meant like it needed to be Jace.
Repeat that again.
I think we're both confusing ourselves with each other's questions, because I'm slightly confused where you are and I'm trying to find your spot. But like the way that I was understanding your question is that you were asking, why did it need to be this version of Jace, like this universe specifically of Jace,
Yeah.
versus other universe,
Exactly. That's what I was asking. Yeah.
And I don't think that was the question. I think the question is it had to just be Jace.
But he's done this over and over again with Jace. So I don't understand why those times didn't work.
I didn't see that he did this over and over with Jace.
So the reason why I say that is because when Victor was having the flashbacks back to when Jace got saved by the mage, and the mage gave him a rune.
That was Victor.
Which was Victor.
Yeah.
For what we know. There was a little thing where he cycled through. Well,
I remember.
That?
Yeah, there's like different options of runes.
Different
don't know.
clips with different runes. That's why I felt like there was different tries.
I thought he was saying it didn't matter what rune I gave you.
Oh, did he say? I don't think they said anything about the rune. He was
I can't remember. I can't remember. This is, the shittiest part is I love how I talked about the amazing writing, and then you chose the most confusing part of the entire show. Like, you're like, how can I full metal this show?
That was the one part that was like, I didn't understand. Because everything, I think everything was pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
And even though there was some like the Black Rose stuff, I still don't understand that.
Yeah.
I think it was
that's future planning. Well, because they're doing spinoffs, and so that's going to become a whole spinoff.
Yeah, but then that whole scene with Victor and the multiple runes, it had to be you. Whoa, I'm like,
I think I tried to take that less like word for word, and I tried to just understand like, okay, the only way to make like humanity still be human and normal is to kill off Victor, right? So I looked at that whole scenario without needing to know every single specific, and just trying to understand, okay, basically Victor got his way at one point, realized this isn't what we really wanted, and now he's like, I've got to get Jace back here to see this so that I can then send him back to kill me.
Yeah.
So that this doesn't happen, right? Yeah. And I think as a blanket, as I hit things, sorry if that made a lot of noise. I think as a blanket that worked. I think the specifics of it, I'm with you. I'm really dicey on how things functioned and why it had to be certain things. So I am with you there. But I think as like an idea, as a larger category, that event still worked for me, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So going back to your original question, how I appreciate severity. Yeah.
That's like, okay.
I love how they spent little time for each character and develop them in their own little way. Either you hate them or you love them, and it did kind of. One thing I hated was how they glorified Jinx at the end, or at least in season 2, how she was somehow the hero of the lanes, where in season 1 you would have thought it would have been Vi, because she was close to who's that Vander, and she was kind of the girl or the person, right, that everyone knew she was going to be the Vander incoming, I guess you can say, right, the next Vander. But to have Jinx come along and just kind of swap the story or swap the vision on that, I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah,
did you kind of see that?
I like Jinx as a character, like a lot. Like, I think she's a lot more interesting to me than Vi, because I think she's much more unpredictable. She's like the Joker of the show, because you don't know if she's going to choose moments to like be a good person. Like the end of season 1 where she shoots Silco was like, holy, I did not see that coming. I love that she. I mean, I'm sure there's like a lot of mental disorder stuff there, right? And I mean, we can dig into this because apparently you don't like characters who have mental disorders. Shinji hater. Shinji. But I think it made sense to me because she basically fought like the Piltover, right? Like she shot a rocket at them and killed them. Like, to me, she stood more as the symbol of rebellion to the lower city than Vi ever did, because Vi never never had a moment as big as that where it was like clear that she was fighting the upper city.
It's so hard. Yeah, you know you make a really good point. Like the hero of the undercity, the one who rebelled. I guess it's kind of like what's going on nowadays, where
Or the United Healthcare dude got murdered.
yeah, it's like, oh, this is how the people really feel.
Yeah.
Vander was kind of keeping the peace, but he wasn't really doing anything. He was just keeping his people safe.
Mm-hmm.
Where Jinx kind of, in my opinion, she fucked everything up.
Oh, right? Well,
all the way through. All the way through.
If Silco had taken on the agreement and handed Jinx in, I think I would agree with you.
I'm talking before that.
When did she mess things up before that, though?
Oh, no, my bad. That's still season 1. Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think the second that he said no, it still was going to be the same thing. And she just ended the ability for her and Vi to go back to being normal. I think was really what ended up happening at the end of season 1 versus like there being some big change in how the lower city and the upper city behave with each other. Mm-hmm. But I think when you saw that happen, it was like, okay, what could have still been conversations is now over. Like you did something that immediately changed any possibility of that democratically being handled. So, but again, if you ask certain people that they were like, that was, Savika, right? I'm sure if you ask Savika's like, yeah, that was finally a show of what we wanted. Like we wanted to tell the upper city that we're not their, just like nothingness and that we're going to fight back. So I think it's interesting to me. What I thought like of season 2 for Jinx was that she didn't want to embrace that role seemingly for a while, that she wanted to hide and not be that beacon, that she just, shot the rocket and was like, I'm good. I did my thing. I don't need to be like the person who takes over. So that's what I thought was really interesting about season 2 for Jinx's character.
So I see that a little bit differently. I felt like she didn't want to be that beacon, not because she didn't want to be, but because I felt like she felt like she should have died already. So she didn't have any, I don't want to say momentum to go forward. I think the only thing that brought her to go forward was her and Isha.
Yeah, I mean, I think Isha's what brought her back out. But I think it took Isha being arrested. She does not leave until literally Savika goes to her and is like, they took your girl.
Yeah. I mean, but she didn't come back to be the hero, right? She came back to go get her girl back.
100%. But she walks into the prison being like, your big hero is here. Like she plays into it.
But I think that's whole solid. I think that's her satire.
I think so too. 100%. Yeah. I don't think she's serious in it, but I do still think that is her owning that moment and being like, I'm here. I'm letting all of you out. Like she's still even if she's saying it satirically, she's still actually doing the thing. She still let them all out.
She's not gonna. That'd be kind of funny. She just went in and grabbed Isha and fucked everyone else over. Like,
but
that would have been true Jinx. I felt like.
Yeah, if you had to, because there's essentially 3 arcs, right, within the second season. There's the first 3 episodes, second 3 episodes, and then the last 3 episodes. Like that's like the way that
how you looked at it.
Well, that's even the way that they released the show. They released it in pieces. They
3 parts.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they released it in 2 parts.
So, like, I would say, like, the first 3 episodes was the culminating thing was the Jinx versus Vi fight, right? And then the second set was the whole Vander Warwick, Jinx and Vi getting back to, like, knowing each other. And then the last one was the alternate dimensions and closing off the arcane energy or whatever we want to call it. I was so prepared to have the second 3 be like the greatest series of episodes, but then there's the one episode where Jace goes into the other dimension, which I honestly is important, but I didn't care about it that much. But the episode, like the same episode where Ekko goes into his alternate dimension, I was like, fuck, that was such a good episode.
That was my favorite episode.
I was floored by it. And again, that's where I'm like, the writing, like I remember the episode started and we had just had such a hot moment that I was like, what, you're changing the entire momentum to something else? I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And then it ended up being like one of the most amazing episodes I've ever seen, right? And again, when I think of that writing, I'm like, it just made so much like more evidence to like how people are, such a situation of their environment and like all the experiences they go through, because you finally see Powder in a completely different scenario, right? Like she is still, I don't want to say 100% normal, but she's definitely not her volatile normal self with the universe that we know, right?
I feel like that episode kind of toned down the Jinx that we know, right? Because
she never even became Jinx.
Well, that's the thing, because we see the episode and we essentially see Powder, right? She's not Jinx, she's Powder.
Yeah,
and she's pretty normal. She's pretty like she didn't have that. What do you call that? I don't know, mental disorder,
like a bipolar disorder.
There it is,
type thing. Yeah,
and I felt like that theme kind of carried on to Jinx when we went back to the next back to the correct universe.
Dimension,
and it just kind of toned down her craziness a bit. But going back to Ekko, I think the way I look at it is like storytelling. Same thing as writing, I guess. It's just seeing his perspective on what he lost, because we only follow a handful of people, right?
Yeah,
Vi, Jinx, some council people, but Ekko was also part. Ekko, what was his nickname? Little Man.
Oh yeah.
Was Little Man?
Yeah.
And then they called him Little Man in that episode too, so I thought it was super humbling, super cute. But we see what he lost through, like, at that time. Not only what Vi and Ekko, went through, and how, in my opinion, I think Ekko went through hell. That was like an awful timeline for him to go through, and Jace went kind of like was I don't know. I didn't think anything about his timeline. More of a, okay, this is what's gonna happen. Yeah, and they sent Ekko straight to hell.
Yeah, that's an interesting dynamic, because I'm like, I asked this question to a lot of people that I knew at work that also watched the show, and I was like, man, I don't know if I would have come back. I think if I was Ekko, I would have been like, I'm staying here. Like, this is, I have all the things that I lost and I love, and
could have been, it happened.
Yeah, and it's like kind of crazy to me to be like, oh man. And I get that he feels some responsibility to like try and go back and help, but it's like
tough.
You're going back to such an imperfect world anyway. Like, even if you come back and save the day, like, how that world's already fucked. So I don't know, but he does go back and he saves Jinx. So I mean, I'll give him props for that for an episode.
What does make me like curious too is this could be another spin-off episode, is what happened to the Ekko that went in place of Ekko. Like, did he go to, so let's change it to the Little Man go to Ekko's universe and live there for a little bit and experience the hell that the Arcane brought? Or did he just like, I don't know, go to sleep? I don't know.
Just resided in that body for a while. I don't know, because the Heimerdinger situation seems slightly different. Also, I am slightly bummed. I guess I found out that Heimerdinger is essentially just immortal and like just goes back to his like home planet or whatever after he connects the voltage. Oh. And I thought he was sacrificing himself completely.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was a bigger moment, but to find out that in reality, he's
Oh
still.
shoot! How'd
Yeah,
you
I'm
find
like,
that out?
it was like some article that came out that like talked about like the whole lore behind his race and like what that moment ended up really being. And I was like, oh,
Oh,
that kind of loses a little bit of power, because that moment when I thought he was just like sacrificing his life, I was like, aw,
uh-huh.
like I really felt it, because I was like, he's like hundreds of years old, and like,
Yeah.
he's still like all his knowledge, and he's gonna be like, okay, like this is the moment I'm choosing to go out.
Mm-hmm. Regardless of his little self-sacrifice, I still hated that guy.
You hated Heimerdinger?
I hated him so much.
Why?
I'm one that hates the I'm centuries old and I'm the boss, or I know more than you because you're just a mortal who's been around for 50 years.
Except that he was proven completely right.
We know that what's her name again? I don't know, Mel's mom.
Ambessa.
Ambessa. We'll just fighting against her. She was the one that was driving the whole Arcane to destruction. That's not the point.
Well, she was trying to get a weapon out of it.
She was the forebringer of it.
But it had already, prior to her, it was already turning into.
Yes, it was already happening. Things were getting poisoned. Victor, dude, that whole Victor thing is still a whole little mystery. Because that only happened because he was messing around with what did they call it?
The hex cube or whatever it was.
They call it something else. Matrix? Was that hex? No.
Something like that, yeah.
The hex thing, and it somehow fused with him. Sure, okay. Would it have gone that bad though? I'm more of the you gotta do it. Rip that band-aid and do it. Find out. You survive, you don't. You survive, you don't. Well, that goes. That's all you can go. That's as far as you go.
Yeah, but I think if you look at what that question, I have this like random dog here. Sorry, I'm distracted.
Oh yeah.
God damn it. Oh my god. Okay, I can do this. No, I can't do it.
I can't do it.
I got it. But I think at the end of the day, the question is, like, was Heimerdinger right in saying this is way too dangerous? And the answer is yes. He basically was correct. And I think if he had been able to completely convince Jace to not dig into it. Now, granted, I think if you had told Jace don't study this, that wasn't ever going to stop him. So I'll give that credit. But I don't think if he had stopped completely, these events would not have happened.
I feel like instead of stopping it, they could have worked together and slowly studied this thing instead of accelerating it to where they are now.
Mm-hmm.
I think that maybe they would have discovered that maybe the Arcane is having what is that called? What was it doing? It was like pros and cons. It wasn't having backlash against nature by using it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fair point, and I don't know if we'll ever know enough to like say, okay, it was just in itself too destructive, or if maybe it could have been controlled in a better way. But I think looking at our own world, I mean, this is obviously outside of the scope of the show, but like, I don't think people do things in controlled manners. And so I think to have the expectation that an amazing technology like that is going to be held in control, I don't see being very possible. But I don't disagree with you that maybe there was some way for him to have been involved. But I think the other part of that is like, let's say he did get involved, because at one point he does, right? When Jace makes the gauntlets and the hammer, and he's like, I have all these things that are going to help people, and he's like, cool, like let's go down all the safeguards, and maybe in 10 years we'll get to release this. And they're like, nah, dog, we're doing this now. So like, part of me is like, he did kind of in a way offer that at one point, and they straight up are like, nope, we have no patience, because Heimerdinger's old, so like 10 years to you is nothing, but 10 years to us is huge. Which, don't get me wrong, like I understand it. That's 10 years is a long time, but like look what you did. Like your shit created the world ending. So
did the world end though, or was it the greed of people that ended the world?
Well, I mean, I think when you look at like Victor's future, right? That's the world ended.
Victor did fuck it up. Well, Ambessa, that's tough. That's a. Okay, fine.
Wow. Can you just say you were right? I mean, I know that's not what you said, but it makes me feel so good.
I'm still on the side that if Ambessa didn't come in and Mel just stood her ground, tell her mom to fuck off, they maybe would have been fine.
Yeah, but I don't think Ambessa. I don't think she was the reason this went down because, like I said, all these things were already happening. Like they were already doing the transportation. Like Ambessa doesn't arrive until like the end of season 1. So like all of this shit already existed. So I don't think Ambessa might accelerate it to some small degree, but like she's definitely, if she had never shown up, it still would have happened. Ambessa just like, I think politically took over and she caused the war, you know, between Piltover and Zon to happen much faster. Okay, so do you have a most hated character from the season, or from like I guess the show? We can say the show or just season 2. Heimerdinger is really. Did you like his song?
I did like his song.
Yeah, bro. I can't believe Heimerdinger is the person you hate.
I hate that old man, know it all. You know, stop what you're doing. I know better. Don't do it. Yoda types. I hate that character.
So are you? It sounds like just not a believer in like the elder having a good knowledge base.
Yeah.
Wow.
I am.
Okay. I mean, that's a fair take. The examples you just gave me are two, I would say, poor examples for your argument because Yoda and Heimerdinger both called it out 100%. But
Yoda was absolutely wrong in everything he did.
What are you talking about?
Oh my goodness, we're gonna have another discussion.
I think you look okay. I don't want to go down the Star Wars road because that's a huge train.
That's a huge. I'm gonna get some files for that.
But okay, so I have a separate character that I hated the most, Maddie.
Yes, who? I felt like she was so insignificant.
Agreed. I still hated her the most
because
I was angry at Kate already when she started hooking up with her. I was like, "Fuck you, Kate! Like that's fucked up, bro." But then when she turned on her, obviously I hated her even more. But like seeing how she died was so fulfilling that I was like semi okay with it, because seeing her get shot with her own fucking bullet in the head was magical. So I really loved that. In terms of other characters that I hate, I don't know. I think the show does such a good job of making so many of the characters like I still like Victor a lot. And I still like Jace, not a lot, but like I do appreciate Jace.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to like have a lot of characters. And I think, again, that's why the writing, to me, like that's a good sign of writing, is when I don't have like this really easy to hate character. If the goal was for them to create a villain that everybody hated, then sure, that'd be a different conversation. But I think the purpose that the show is trying to say is that no one is like blameless and that no one is the complete reason for anything, and that we all have good and bad in us all. And I think the show did such an amazing job with fleshing that out for all the characters.
Okay. One thing about Maddie I found really funny, or kind of like fucked up. It was the last episode. So Vi and Caitlin, they hook up in the prison cell, right? And we don't know what Maddie's and Caitlin's relationship is.
Yeah.
Well, for all we know, that they were still together. So essentially, she cheats on her in the prison cell with Vi. Okay, and then it goes like a little later on. They're fighting the war, right? And Caitlin is like trying to take shots at the enemy, and Maddie's just like right there behind her, supporting her.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of conversation are you gonna? When are you gonna bring it up? Like, are you gonna break up with her now, or are you gonna wait after the war? Like, when are you gonna have this talk?
I
I
had
just
the
thought it was funny.
assumption, yeah, that is funny. And someone else did like a good meme where they were like, where Maddie has that moment where she's like, I really appreciated the warmth in those moments, and
That was such a
someone was like it repeats all the scenes where Kayla's just like a cold shouldered bitch to her, and they're like, what warmth do we? And it's so true because like at no point was she, I feel like, super overly warm with her.
Yeah.
But in my head, I guess I just had already assumed that they weren't together. But yeah, I would, if they were, I would not bring it up in the middle of a huge fucking fight. I would have been like, here, let me give you a fucking truth bomb right now. I'd be like, no, this is not the moment for this.
What do you want to know before you die?
No. I'd be like, let her die in some sort of happiness. Why would you fucking say it that moment? It'd be terrible.
Imagine if Maddie was still good, right? And then everything came out perfect. And everyone survives. And Maddie comes over for a kiss or something. It's like, and then Vi is right over there. Like, what the?
I feel like Vi would just like do the hand to the face and just like shove her. Like,
That'd
sorry,
be hilarious.
Yeah. Did you have any characters that that you surprisingly liked, like more than you thought you were going to?
Oh, I think it might have been Ekko.
Yeah,
because he wasn't too big to the story. When they brought him into that little, universe, I was like, oh damn, this is kind of like he was part of the group, but we just never brought him in.
Yeah,
and he was the leader of the Fireflies. He did all these little side things. What I thought was really cool about him was that he was one of those. He was also an inventor, right? A genius in his own right.
Yeah.
But he didn't have the luxuries of money or whatever status to go study at the academy and live to his fullest potential, I guess. So I thought that was pretty I don't know, interesting, or I guess I find that relatable to like a lot of people out here. So like that. Did you find who's your, I guess,
I think Mel surprised me this season. I mean, do you just say Mel? Who's Mel?
I got it.
Bro.
I did a character list. I can't remember names.
Okay. Because I liked her in season 1, but I felt like she had political like
I think she was really well written and like what you were talking earlier, like is she good, is she bad? Like what's her motive?
Yeah, and then when she, even in the moments where like when she captures her mom, it still surprised me the choice that she made.
Yeah.
I think I was like, okay, like she's now OP as fuck, and I still don't fully understand her power because we really just barely dove into it, but I was like really curious what she was going to do. And then when she made the choice to like kill the Black Rose person, I was like, what? Like, I was like, okay, now I have no idea what was going on
with that scene. Like I didn't understand that.
I think that one of the spinoffs is going to be Mel going to Noxia or whatever it is. And so I think we're going to get more of that. So I think that's why they held off on really diving into it this year. Because I remember the whole time I was like, who the fuck is this Black Rose group? And I like at one point I Googled it because I was like, is this some League of Legends thing that I'm like supposed to know? And it was like, yeah, no, we don't know anything about this group yet, and we won't know until they expand on it. So clearly that's something they're holding on to until they get into whatever that spinoff is going to be. So we'll find out more there.
Okay.
But yeah, I really liked her character, and I felt she really genuinely like cared about Jace, and I found her to be like a smart character. Like she made good choices, I felt like that made sense. And again, that's writing. But yeah, I think after season 1, I didn't really expect her to be that pivotal of a character, and she ended up becoming surprisingly an interesting character for me.
Were there any plots or subplots that you found interesting or kind of caught you by surprise?
Yeah, well, I don't know if it caught me by surprise, because I remember at the end of season 1 when they showed the image of Warwick, and people were like, "Oh, that's Warwick," and then there was all this speculation that Vander was going to be Warwick, and so I kind of knew that was coming, but I don't think I expected it to hit me as hard as it did. Because that moment when they all hugged together, I won't lie to you, I straight cried. I was like, God damn, this got me in the feelers. And
I don't remember my reaction when I first saw that. Yeah. I think for me it was like, Oh yeah, I saw that coming.
I think I saw it coming, but it was like I finally got it. I finally had that moment, and I kind of wish they had ended this season on that moment, and then done another longer season for. I would have been really sad to have missed the Ekko episode because I still do like that. I agree with you. I think that might have been my favorite episode of the whole series. It's weird though because you could never have that be a standalone episode, right? It only is an amazing episode because of the entire series as a whole.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was not ready to leave that moment after it happened. I was like, I want time to sit with this, and I didn't get that because it was so pivotal. And then the moment where Isha sacrifices herself was another one of those where it just like absolutely destroyed me. I was just like, oh, like to me, I'm a big believer in deaths, especially in a show like this where there's like fighting and stuff like that, are absolutely necessary and they have to mean something. And this was one of those where I was like, holy crap. I felt all the plot and story strings happening from this moment, but it still was just like, oh, that's like soul crushing.
Yeah.
To experience that moment.
For me, that was my favorite scene. The Isha scene. Because like you say, it put on all the heartstrings.
Yeah.
You did, like, eventually you do kind of feel for Jinx. And she just lost like her person, I guess. The one.
I mean, she lost everything. She re-lost her dad.
Yeah.
She loses Isha. It's like she's basically like the only tether she has after that again is Vi, and we don't know how viable a string that really is.
Yeah. I guess one scene I also appreciated was Jinx's that where Jinx breaks everyone out of prison. Right, and she goes, "I'm your hero. Here's your hero."
Yeah,
and then everyone goes in and just silently pats her.
Yeah,
and I feel like you see it in the art, like she finally got recognized as I guess a person.
Yeah, she thought they were gonna like hit her at first because she like literally does one of these.
I felt like she was kind of like scared.
Yeah,
like oh shit, don't touch me or something.
Yeah.
But like. I thought like for someone who had, I guess, social anxiety or social problems, right?
Mm-hmm.
For to be accepted by a group of strangers, I thought that was a huge moment.
Oh yeah,
or not a huge moment, but I don't know, a very emotional moment, I guess.
Oh, you felt like emotionally impacted that moment?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I felt emotional there, but I think it was nice to see Jinx finally be like more, because she felt like, she was always an outcast. She was always the person screwing something up, and even when Silco accepted her, I mean, obviously she was such a loose cannon that it felt like nobody else wanted to be around her because she could shoot them.
Especially when they were having the gang wars after Silco was dead. No one actively went after her to have them join. They're just like, oh, that's a loose cannon. We don't want any of that. Right?
Well, I mean, she shot Silco herself.
She shot Silco. Yeah. So like, she's tough as shit. But do we really want that?
Yeah. I thought Savika and her relationship was something that surprised me this season.
That was a good one.
Yeah. I actually really learned to like Savika a lot from this season. And I think just getting to see her, getting with Jinx and that relationship becoming stronger, I thought was something totally unexpected, I think, too, because Savika in season 1 was like, that girl's a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a really cool, another unexpected aspect of the show as well.
I did like when V went up to and beat her up. It's like, yeah, fuck that bitch up. And then after a while, I'm like, even in season 1, I'm like, oh man, people just beat up on this bitch all the time.
But she like fucks people up though too.
She does. So
I mean,
I didn't feel too bad about that.
Yeah.
But I thought it was really funny. So going back to the same scene back in the jail cell, and you have the monster coming down, and then I think they know shit's gonna go down. And Savika's kind of like, you really are a Jinx, right?
Yeah.
That's what she's saying. It's like, yeah. So like even Jinx herself finally is kind of like accepting of her name I thought that was hilarious between the two.
Well, there's even a moment where, like, when Vi comes in season 3 and asks her Jinx, and Jinx is like, "You finally got the name right," you know. So I think she has fully accepted that persona. I think Jinx is my favorite character. Like, I love her so much. Her unpredictability makes her so interesting. I also just have a thing for blue-haired baddies. You know, I just like you haven't even seen it yet, but on the ultra modded Baldur's Gate 3 campaign we have, I made Jinx. So I have like the hairstyle, and she's an artificer and shoots guns and has like, you know, she doesn't have shimmer or anything, obviously, because that doesn't exist in Baldur's Gate. But like I think she's such an awesome, fun character, and like that psychosis to me makes her, because here's my thing with writing. I think you usually need really, really good reasons for everything happening. And when you have a character that is like Jinx, it kind of gives you a new playground, because you don't have to have everything always make sense.
Yeah.
Right. It's kind of like the Joker. And I do think she is literally the Joker of this universe, where there are motives and there are understandings about what they do, but what creates the energy for something happening, you have no idea where it came from. Right. So I think that's what makes her so fascinating, is because you'll see her be totally chill and just playing some kids game, and then the next scene just like shooting 4 dudes in the face.
Yeah.
And it's like no problem, you know. It's just like so crazy to me, because she did not need to kill, I feel like, half the people that she's killed. She's just like, yeah, I have a gun and you're here, you know.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so I think she's more interesting. I do think Vi might have gotten a better character arc, like writing wise, because goth mommy Vi,
I feel like she
about.
didn't get as much action as Jinx. Like, we know what's about. It was kind of like about. Oh, not really about, but we follow Vi a lot more. Mm-hmm. But I feel like you don't see her really. Her character change very much. It's kind of the same person the whole time.
Kind of, but you see, so it's like the opposite, right? So Jinx goes through a redemptive arc, right? So she goes bad, and then you see her have moments where she gets better, but then she goes bad again, and then you see her coming in and be better. Vi goes, it's not completely the opposite, because she never goes bad per se, but she goes to the people of the lower city bad, right? Because she goes and becomes an enforcer, and which is like the ultimate no-no. So like everyone in the lower city, and she's hunting her own people, and she's doing all these things that you're like Vi from season 1 would never have done that.
Yeah.
So you are seeing an arc for Vi, and then she bounces back from that and goes away from that as well. But it's just a totally separate styling.
Yeah. I got okay.
And then you also see Goth Mommy Vi, where she's in the pits, and I want more Goth Mommy Vi. Like I was like, that's it right there. Like that's the vibe.
It didn't do it for me.
Well, you're wrong, so it's okay.
I appreciate the black hair, but that was it.
I loved it. I was like all about. I didn't love the like she was just like shit faced the entire time, but I did love like her vibe. It just like felt like the ultimate personification of like, I don't give a fuck anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually liked that. I felt like that was like slightly freeing for her, because it was like an escape from her like constantly feeling the need to do the right thing.
Yeah. My bad.
I mean, you're not wrong. I just am like, that's my perspective on it.
I just didn't even see it like that. Well,
yeah. Because I mean, even in the season when Caitlyn tries to give her the badge, she like is like, "Oh my god, like how dare you?"
I guess I just didn't see it as deep as like that. I saw, she was fighting against her inner beliefs, I guess, like, or her teachings.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do that because the people who wore this badge killed my mother.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't see her as a person change. She just had to do what she had to do because she knew Jinx was a fucking menace. And like she wasn't really going after her people. She was going after her sister.
I mean,
just her sister.
100%. But I think you can make the same argument that I don't think Jinx has changed since she joined up with Silco either.
Yeah, she's been pretty consistent.
Yeah. It's not like Jinx comes to the light of day and is like, you know what, I was wrong. Well, let me be nice.
Did she not have that moment, especially when she was going to commit suicide in front of Ekko?
I'm trying to remember like the exact words that she used in that scene.
It seemed like she was really just tired.
I think yes, right? I think she just is like
she tried to kill herself at least 3 times.
Yeah.
Right.
I think she just was tired of loss because that was also after Aisha died and Vander died. And it just was like, how much loss can like this poor person have? You know?
Yeah.
So
she really didn't have a support system either, too. So I didn't even help her.
Yeah. I would have been interested to see what she was doing between the time of Silco dying to Aisha joining up with her, because whatever, we never see it between those moments.
Oh yeah, she's just kind of wandering around by herself and just whatever, I guess.
I did think one of the other interesting questions I had was in the episode with the alternate universe, you see that Hextech never got made, right? But
correct,
at the end you see Jinx have those stones.
Yeah.
Or powder, I should say. Right. And I'd be curious what that would have led to, because I think there's some speculation that now that she knows how to make the time device, that she would have tried to make something like that to like maybe go back to get the other Ekko. But so like I don't know how that would work.
That's what I was leading off to. What happened to the little man, right? So he went to the Ekko's universe, learned about Hextech somehow, came back. Now both Little Man and Powder with the gems, know how to do it now. So yeah, what's going to happen with that?
I'm still trying to understand 100% what they figured out how to do, because obviously with Ekko's device, he figured out how to rewind time by 4 seconds.
Well, I think he was just, like you said, he was playing around with one of the inversion factors and accidentally made a time loop.
Yeah,
he changed one variable in that equation, and it was some sort of inversion factor, and that's what led to that. I don't even know what they were trying to create in the first place. I don't understand these runes. I don't understand, period. These wild runes. What are you talking? I understand the rune concept. Yeah. You do a rune, it does an action. But the wild rune concept, I don't understand it.
Well, I mean, there's that scene where Jace tries to get Ekko to understand it, which I thought that was a slightly interesting scene, because I felt like in the moment I understood what he was trying to say and emphasize. But yeah, I would say the biggest like plot hole of this show, and maybe this is a slight reduction in what I would consider like the total writing score, is that the system behind the runes does not seem to have a solid like rule set, right, to make me understand what these should or can and can't do, right? So like,
it seems like the possibilities are endless, which is fair,
but I don't know.
I think it is, just because like you just have raw arcane in the air apparently, right? And to harness it, to use it, you need these runes.
But then how can they figure out how it makes specific actions do specific things?
No idea. That's what I think. That's kind of like what Jace already had, right? He had a few, like, some knowledge of some runes, and he got that to work. Okay, whatever. But when they introduced the hex core, it's a hex core. That's when I got confused. I'm like, what is this? Like, why is this so different than the runes themselves?
Yeah, I felt like I was thinking of it more as just like a power system for a while. Like, it just was the thing that created enough energy to do what the machines that they put it in to do.
I think that's what it was before the hex core got involved. Something about like all these rune combinations, and it did it all for you. I have no idea.
Yeah, but
that
yeah,
was a bit too deep for me
for sure. And I would say that's the one thing that I just was like, I'm not going to pretend it like I understood that. I just try to take it as much as I could at face value, and since it wasn't what I felt like the core theme of the show was supposed to be about, I kind of was like, okay,
I just let it go.
Yeah, exactly.
You're magic. Okay, I get it.
This is where it's different from Full Metal Alchemist, where the entire fucking thing of the show was based around the shit that made no goddamn sense.
Hey, if you want to make a spear, you transmute the iron out of the ground and made a fucking iron spear. Yes, right there.
That makes sense. When they opened a gate in space and all of a sudden another thing came out of it, I was like, all right, what's happening here?
That was Lululand. I was like, oh, that was the gate for the Earth or something. Someone's gate. I think the planet's gate. Oh, it was Earth's gate.
I don't know. I was so out the door at that point in that show. And like, dude, Neon Evangelion has layers. That show is just like cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs in that moment. Like, it just doesn't. It feels like nothing makes sense. And I'm sure it does. Honestly, I'm sure there's someone who's like such a fanboy of it that can explain it in very deep detail to me. But like the fact that I have to go to that extent to learn it is where I'm like, nah.
And yeah, right. And like, I think what you're saying, I do agree that. Oh shit. We're talking about this is Attack on Titan. This is a different stream. I already brought it up, so here we go. Like they just give you all the answers straight up. Like there's this little mystery there, okay, but then you just go a little bit further. Boom. Here you go.
Yep.
Here's the next thing.
Yep. Yeah, no, for sure.
I did appreciate that a lot more. And Arcane was kind of similar too. There wasn't.
Yeah, I agree.
There was no BS really.
Okay.
A little bit here and there.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I think that's just like, okay, we want to do this cool scene and maybe it doesn't fit within 100%. But all right. So we're an hour deep. So I'll probably ask one final question here.
Oh, here we go.
Do you think Jinx is dead?
Oh, she did go kaboom at the end. Do I think Jinx is dead for the 4th time? I don't know. Maybe the shimmer saved her. I think she's dead.
You think she's dead?
I think she's dead.
Okay. I feel like the only reason I don't think she's dead is because of them showing the airship at the end, and it literally matched. It matched 100% how the show began. Like the first episode began, where Powder sees one of the airships and says, "One day I'm going to ride one of those." And literally the end of season 2 is one of those airships going away.
Whoa. I did not see that.
I didn't pick up on it either until someone had mentioned it. And then I went back and watched it. I was like, holy shit, that's
kind of the whole damn theme of the show, wouldn't it be?
Yeah. And so I was like, that fits so well. And I think people are so attached to her that like, we're not ready for Jinx to die. And like in the moment of self-sacrifice, it's just like, I want her to still be around.
I want her dead.
Why do you want her dead?
I didn't like her redemption arc at all.
Oh, you're wrong. So
I think it makes everyone forget how crazy she was.
Yeah, but you can explain her crazy. She literally has so much trauma in her life.
She was also drugged the hell up. Like that essentially brought her back to life.
Oh yeah, the shimmer injections. Yeah,
the shimmer injection.
But I mean, she was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs even before then. But like, you're talking about someone who has severe mental trauma.
Yeah.
So, like,
I think I just can't handle severe
mental
trauma.
I think you have no like empathy for anyone who has mental difficulties. It is wild, bro.
I think I agree with you. There's a tether for that, and it's so short, and that's all you get. Poof, it's gone. I don't know why.
I just think humans are so complicated that I
don't know why.
I think it's funny too because I feel like you watch. I mean, I could be overdoing it here, so you can clearly tell me I'm wrong about who you are.
Okay, go ahead.
But I feel like when you watch an anime and you see a moment where someone's like, okay, I need to go save the town. If they do anything but like get their sword and go save the town, you're like, what a bitch.
No. There's factors to that. I don't give a shit if they lose. Oh, I see what you mean now.
Yeah, like if they're like, oh shit, I'm scared. Maybe don't go into like this crazy scenario and try and save the world. I feel like you're like, stop being a bitch.
No, I don't think 100% quite like that.
Give me one character who has had trauma that you like.
Oh, I don't know if I've read enough.
You have watched enough anime.
I don't know if there's enough protagonists that I know of who fit that criteria.
You like Misato from Evangelion?
Misato, which is
oh my god.
Oh, the mommy.
She's not the.
Oh, that's not Misato.
She's the red. She's the one that picked Shinji up in episode 1. She's like
the red.
She's like their guardian.
Yes, the red. Was that Misato?
Her name is Misato Katsuragi.
Yes. Damn, I can't. That's impressive. You just pull that straight out of the fucking air. In terms, I don't like her character, but I do appreciate her more than Shinji.
You like her because she's a chick.
No, I'm not factoring that in. I'm not factoring that in.
Okay, you don't like Zenitsu, which I will semi give you. I'm not a huge Zenitsu fan, but Zenitsu, I have way more understanding than you do for him.
Zenitsu and the Asta, it's. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I've not watched Black Clover. I think I've seen an episode of it, so I can't speak to Asta. I don't know anything there. But yeah, so you don't like Shinji, you don't like Zenitsu.
I don't like the Zenitsu not because he's scared of a fight. I don't like him because of how whiny he is, and it's loud. It's too loud for me.
I'm with you. It's obnoxious, but it doesn't deter me from liking. Like you hate who he's gonna end up with. Because you just think he's a whiny little bitch.
Don't tell me.
I've already told you this.
I know, but I forgot until you say it again. Oh, man. Don't remind me, please.
But at least in the moments that counts, he's like a fucking baller.
I appreciate him for that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who else?
I'm trying to think now. I'm trying to go down the line. Do you like... You liked Armin, didn't you?
Yeah, I liked Armin.
Yeah, see, I don't like Armin.
Because Armin was useful.
I just felt like Armin wasn't that necessary. I felt like there were other strategists in the show who could have done the same thing.
I can see that. Like, Armin wasn't that smart.
Yeah.
He got a few guesses right. Good for him.
Yeah.
In terms of necessary, I don't think he was that great. I'm on the side that Erwin should have lived.
Yes. Did you see? Did you see someone had a long comment response to us talking about this on YouTube?
No, I didn't.
Someone wrote a very thorough note. I did not.
Just send it to me.
Just open the YouTube page, you hoe.
Oh, my bad.
My bad. But yeah, so I was like, okay. I honestly read it and I was like, I'm gonna need to come back to this one because it was like an essay. And I was like, maybe I'll think about this. But I agree with you. Even if there's some reason that the show needed it to be Armin, I was like, give me Erwin. I don't give a shit.
I was ready for him. Like, at that moment, I was like, Mikasa, I'm with you. I was ready. I was like, because I think all the were they having a flashback or something at the time? I don't know. But like, my heart was emotionally ready. I was like, oh, bye-bye, Armin. Story can go on without you.
It would have felt like a good sacrifice.
It would have. Right? I had the feel. They fucking ripped that away from me.
Yeah. I'm trying to like go down my like list right now. And obviously, as soon as I watch it. Okay.
Armin. Might have been covered with plot armor, though. I will say that.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's just those two that I pinpointed, but you're such a Shinji hater that it hurts my soul.
I hate Shinji.
Do you like Denji from Chainsaw Man?
I don't know.
You haven't watched it yet?
I haven't gone deep into Chainsaw Man.
Okay. That's a good one to go through. I'm trying to think, okay, for I don't know if there's anyone really in Death Note that emulates those characters.
Okay, no, I don't think so.
Because Misa's annoying, but like not in the same way.
No. Yeah, I know what you mean. My Hero, I mean, you're not deep in My Hero, are you?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
I'm caught up with it.
I'm not.
I've actually read all of the manga for My Hero. I've read
it's done
to the end.
then.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't spoil it for me, please.
Well, now you've given me ammo, so if you make me angry, I'm going to tell you the end. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm not that fucked. Look, I told you I like Jinx for a reason, okay? All right. Well,
oh man,
is there anything else that you wanted to dig into here other than that?
I have nothing. Maybe in like an hour I'll think of something.
I know. That's always the way it goes. It's like
it always is.
The next day I'm like, fuck, I wanted to talk about this.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll cover it back in Attack on Titan.
Yeah. So we'll come back after this. We'll finish up because Steven already finished Attack on Titan. So I've clearly not finished the manga because he went through 3.5 seasons in like a week.
It was too good.
We'll have to figure out. So we'll come back. We'll finish off the last one of Attack on Titan, and then we'll have to figure out kind of what our next. I don't. Have you heard of Monster?
I might have.
It's like a serial killer manga, but it's basically like a doctor gets.
No, I have not.
Okay, I've heard amazing things about it. And I've done the first 2 manga. No, it's not new. Johan is the villain, and apparently he's like one of the great villains.
Nope, don't know anything about this.
Yeah, so at least that's something neither of us have finished.
Is that what you're reading?
Yeah, so I'm 1 volume through it.
Okay.
But yeah, so we'll figure this out. So next time we're back, we'll do Attack on Titan, and then we'll figure out kind of what's after that, and go from there.
It's a lot to get done before the end of the year.
Yeah, we'll have to see kind of how that works out because I go to my fiance's family for Christmas this year, so I don't know if I will be home for next week to do Attack on Titan. Gotcha. So I'll have to figure that out.
Tough. Okay.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll talk.
We'll talk.
But all right, well, I'll let you go. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We will see you probably in like 2 weeks. Let's be real. And have a good holidays if we haven't seen you. Also for New Year's Eve, trying really hard to convince Steven to do the bomb wing from Hot
I didn't
Ones.
say no.
I know, but you haven't committed, so.
Oh yeah, I gotta send you the yes text, don't I?
So hopefully, if that happens, I will absolutely record it and send it to the YouTube world. Yeah, the tears need to be public.
I don't think there are tears. There's not gonna be any tears.
He says this now.
I want to burn assholes, maybe, but I don't want tears.
All right. See you guys later. Bye.
Bye. That was fun.